All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about HIVE Blockchain, stock ticker HIVE. They are a Bitcoin mining company. They put out their operational update for the month of January last week, so I want to go through that. And I want to go through a few other big changes that HIVE has had and take a look at what they're doing. We'll take a look at their chart as well. We cover Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners all the time on this channel, so if you're new to this channel or if you have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, and you can also hit the notification bell if you want to get notified each time we make a video. Also, if you could smash the like button, I would appreciate that a lot. Lastly, if you want to support the channel, you can hit the join button on the YouTube page. It's right next to the subscribe button. If you don't see that button, there's a link in the pinned comment below. Members have a lot of members-only content, and we also have a lot of fun, and it also helps support the channel, so I appreciate it. Let's talk about HIVE Blockchain. Okay, right now we're in the middle of the trading day today, and HIVE is just under $3 at about $2.99, and that puts it just under $250 million market cap. So HIVE was a much larger market cap company than this. Like most of the Bitcoin miners, they are down drastically off of their highs. We will look at their chart later and go through specifically where they're at. So we got a bunch to go through. I got a bunch of new charts for you as always. So let's get going. Let's take a look at HIVE. Okay, so I'm just going to start with their monthly operational report. So here we have, this was on February 7th. HIVE Blockchain provides January 2023 production update and Bitcoin Hodl increase of 20% on year-over-year basis. So we'll get to those numbers a little bit more specific and show you exactly what they mean by that. Number one, HIVE produced 260 Bitcoin in the month of January from ASIC and GPU mining operations, representing an average of 110 Bitcoin per exahash, a 21% month-over-month increase compared to December of 2022, where they mined 214 Bitcoin. So we will look at a chart of the Bitcoin that they've mined by month for every month for all of the last year with the January comps from the previous year. But right here, they're showing you from December of 2022 to January of 2023, they had a 21% increase. They went from 214 Bitcoin mined to 260 Bitcoin mined. So that's obviously a very good step in the right direction. The other thing that I want to note is they talk about ASIC and GPU mining, but the reality is at this point, since proof of work ended in the middle of September for Ethereum, the GPU miners represent an extremely small portion of the cryptocurrency that they mine. So they are focused on being a Bitcoin miner. They're adding Bitcoin mining, ASIC Bitcoin mining machines. That is their strategy on a go-forward basis. Okay, so HIVE's year-over-year monthly production was consistent. 260 Bitcoin this January, 264 Bitcoin last January. In the past, up until Ethereum moved to proof of stake, they would report Bitcoin equivalents because they also mined a very large amount of Ethereum. So their total amount mined has gone down, but you can see Bitcoin for Bitcoin, they're flat year over year and they're up month over month from December in a pretty big way. Okay, next they say HIVE earned $180,000 in income from balancing the grid in addition to Bitcoin production in January. Based on the daily Bitcoin price during the month of January, the income from grid balancing would equate to a mined value of about 10 Bitcoin. So they are now kicking energy back to the grid and they're getting paid for it. Now, this is not the biggest program out there, but it is $180,000. So obviously every little bit helps. This is additional revenue for them. Okay, HIVE deployed over 6,700 new generation ASIC miners in its data centers, representing one of the largest upgrades in the company's history to improve our gross mining margin and fleet efficiency. At one point, HIVE was mining just as much in dollar volume of Ethereum as they were Bitcoin. Okay, HIVE has deployed over 3,200 Buzz miners in its facilities in Sweden and Canada. These miners are from the 5,655 Buzz miners manufactured, tested, and received to date. This has the Intel ASIC chip. They subcontracted out and built their own custom miner around that. So they got 3,200 of those up and running as well. HIVE has fully deployed all of the 3,570 S19j Pro miners acquired in December into our New Brunswick and Lachute facilities. As a result of in-house software improvements by HIVE technical team, we further increased our efficiency at our New Brunswick site by approximately 20% in average joules per terahash efficiency. Okay, then they finish out by saying Hive sells all the Bitcoin earned from their GPU mining hash rate with a focus on hodling the green Bitcoin mined from their ASIC miners. Hive represents to be using 100% clean energy. Okay, so if I go down a little further, the company's total Bitcoin production in January 2023 was 260 Bitcoin. We talked about that. That's 8.4 Bitcoin produced per day on the average. Okay, so this is the last 13 months for Hive Blockchain. Now you're going to see this is Bitcoin equivalent. And remember, from September of 2022 backwards, you're going to have a hybrid number of Ethereum and Bitcoin. For the most part, this is straight up Bitcoin that they're mining now, and all the new machines they're bringing online are ASIC Bitcoin mining machines. So you'll see they did drop down for a few months after the Ethereum situation. From September, they were down in October, down in November, and then down in December. That was their low at 214 Bitcoin mined. So this month in January, they've jumped back up to 260 Bitcoin mined. That's very close to where they were in November, despite the fact there's been a lot of increases in the exahash rate. So they do have plans to continue to increase their exahash, mostly with their own Bitcoin miners now. So it remains to be seen where they go, but I want to put in perspective where they're at right now. This is a chart of December for all the publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies. This is actually the top 10 Bitcoin mined in the month of December. So you're going to see in December, Hive was in 6th place with 214. So they've jumped up to 260. Now, Cypher also had a nice jump up, so this will leave Hive exactly where they were when we do next month's chart, which should be over the weekend. Hive will once again be in 6th place. So they're holding their ground. They're increasing the number of Bitcoin they mined. What I'd really like to see is their next quarterly financial statements and start to see what they're paying, what their cost per Bitcoin is, because that obviously will become key as time goes by. Also, obviously, Bitcoin has gotten a little bit healthier recently off of its $16,000 to $17,000 lows, hanging around between $21,000 and $23,000. Okay, so back to their monthly operational report, 2.68 exahash of Bitcoin hash rate. Okay, that is comprised of 2.52 exahash of ASIC miners and 0.16 exahash of GPU miners. So you can see the GPU portion of what they're doing has gone from, at one point it was like 40% of the coins they mined in from a revenue standpoint. This is now just a tiny, tiny fraction. So they're moving away from that. Hopefully they'll have another use for these machines, whether it be high performance computing centers or whether they sell them for their value. Monthly average of 2.37 exahash, which is equal to 110 Bitcoin per exahash. This is the Bitcoin mining efficiency for each company in December. So these are the top 10 companies. You can see Bitfarms was number 1 at 110. So anywhere in the 105 to 110 was excellent performance in the month of December. Hive was at 104, so they're now up to 110. So they did beat the month of December. So they should be competing for one of the most efficient Bitcoin miners, which they've always been. Efficiency is one of their trademark characteristics. Okay, the last thing I want to say about them here is the Bitcoin Hodl update. As of the date of this press release, Hive has approximately 2,430 Bitcoin with a market cap value of about $56 million. Hive has a very strong balance sheet. They have very, very low debt, and they do have a stack of Bitcoin. There are 3 companies that have by far the largest stacks of Bitcoin. However, Hive at 2,430, they are in 4th place. So yes, they're distantly behind the top 3, but they're just about the only other company that is successfully hodling Bitcoin. And again, this leads to a very strong balance sheet for them. So that's definitely one of the pluses for Hive Blockchain. If I just take a quick look at the most recent balance sheet that Hive has put out, this was September 30th, 2022. You can see they had $88 million in current assets, $278 million in total assets. And if I go down to total liabilities, so this is current liabilities plus their long-term liabilities, that number's just under $50 million. So you can see $50 million of total liabilities is less than just their current assets. Never mind their $278 million in total assets. So a very, very strong, healthy balance sheet. Nice liquidity, and they've managed to maintain this. Okay, with all that said, let's take a quick look at their chart. I'm going to start very zoomed out. This is HIVE on the 1 week time frame. I want to show you all of these Bitcoin miners, although they've had excellent rallies in the month of January of 2023, they are still drastically off of their recent highs. Most of these are more like 15 or 16 month highs, not 52 week highs. Everything peaked in about November of 2021, and it's been pretty much straight downhill since then until this January, where there's been some recovery. So from the November 21 highs to the December 22 lows, HIVE Blockchain was down 95%. That sounds very bad. However, it was very consistent with the entire Bitcoin mining publicly traded industry. All of the Bitcoin miners were down somewhere between 90 and 99%. So HIVE was somewhere in the middle at 95%. They have had a nice run up, but still, even if we go from today, they're still down over 89% from their highs. So I'm not proposing any price targets for them to get back to their all-time highs anytime soon. However, I do think if Bitcoin can remain healthy and HIVE can continue on the trajectory they're on with positive monthly operational updates, I do think there's some room left to the upside. So let's take a look at the risk-reward equation. Back when Bitcoin ran up to about $25,000, HIVE ran up to about $7.50. So HIVE's currently trading at just under $3. So they're still down significantly. And remember, Bitcoin has been making a run towards 25,000. Now, it's pulled back. It's a little under 22,000 right now. It got to a high of a little over 24,000. So we will see if on this run, Bitcoin can get back to 25,000. But that would be to compare apples to apples from August of 2022. HIVE would still have a potentially 150% upside to get back to that number. Now, they have had some changes to their business. Remember, in August of 2022, they were still fully mining Ethereum. So that is a change. So on the flip side, if Bitcoin was to struggle and revisit its lows, right now it would be about 54% drop to get back to its recent lows from where it was just in December of 2022. So to me, that's the reasonable risk-reward range. Obviously, every stock can go to zero, so please invest carefully. These are super, super highly volatile stocks, all the Bitcoin mining stocks, and they are highly contingent on Bitcoin's performance as well as their own. Okay, so that's all I got for you today on HIVE Blockchain. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, smash the like button, and of course, you can become a member of the channel by hitting the join button. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.